How did the astronauts know that there might be a problem with a thruster not giving enough thrust and checking to make sure that it was getting the fuel and the oxidizer needed to create the thrust out of the jet? Well, this week I'm going to teach you more about the space shuttle, and I'm going to show you how the astronauts could determine whether the jet was getting enough fuel and oxidizer, and it was done with these indicators right here, and they are actually barber poles that are part of the aft reaction control system isolation manifold talkback. And when you click on it, takes you to the aft reaction control system isolation manifold talkback page, which you can see here. And what these indicators are doing is they indicate the status of the pair of valves. So it's not just one, it's a pair. The talkback indicator is controlled in the same manner as the tank isolation valve indication. So it shows open right here or closed when the pair of valves are open or closed, and barber pole, what we saw in the other picture when I was doing the tour of the inside of the shuttle, when the valves are in transit or one valve is open and the other valve is closed, or for some micro switch failures. So what this thing is doing, it's telling you whether those valves are open, closed, or maybe in transit, and if you wait a little bit longer, whether they have failed. But you notice here it says pair of valves, and what that is going to mean right here, pair of valves. So there's two valves for each one of these indicators, and you get the oxidizer here from one side and you get the fuel from the other side, and that goes to this valve, this indicator, the talkback, and this one here goes to jets 1 and 2, and this one goes to jets 3, 4, and 5 from both these sides. Now that's what makes this indicator very important. So if you're getting oxidizer or fuel, you will see this open, and that means a lot, especially if the shuttle isn't acting correctly when you're trying to maneuver it in outer space for docking, and that indication will tell you, it's like, okay, if there is a barber pole, we have problems with jets 1 and 2. And then we have to go look and see where those jets are located. So that is what this indicator does right here. So that's all for this week that we're talking about the aft reaction control isolation manifold talkback. If you stay to the end, we're going to show you again how to get your name on a page that is going to be linked to a time capsule that's going to be on the surface of the moon. But right now, for our Patreon subscribers, we're going to go into the schematics. And for our paying Patreon subscriber, if you wait with us, we're going to go a little bit more in depth on the switches and the effects on the jet. So if you are a Patreon member, and that's even a free member, which means it doesn't cost you anything. And if you are a member and you click on schematics,
book, Flying the Space Shuttle, A Pilot's Guide to Orbital Flight, Digital Autopilots, and Spacecraft Navigation. Now, this book is actually, the text itself has been sent into outer space as part of a documented test of electronic information integrity in the space environment. And this is the original source manuscript whose text was intentionally selected, prepared, and transported beyond Earth's atmosphere as part of a documented spaceflight data integrity experiment. So you can actually check out this book here and see it. You can read a sample if you come down here, read a sample. this will be what you see. So you can actually go through. What I have in here is the first chapter, and it is going to explain what the instruments are on the space shuttle and tell you what each component is. Now, the first chapter goes over very quick summary of what the instrument is. If you go into the book further, you can see on the chapters here that you go into the parts, the aerometers, the rate indicator, all of that you will be able to look at in the book. But right up to here, you get to display on, or you get to view on the Amazon site, and the text that we put onto the spacecraft and launch goes all the way down to chapter 4. That's as much information as I could squeeze into my space that I was allowed to into the satellite or into the rocket that went into outer space. And this is my certificate that tells it that it went into flight. Now, on October 27th is when I loaded it onto the rocket, and it went up into space later in November. And one of the great things down here is if you scan that with your computer, you can see the text that was actually sent into outer space, and it will be identical to the book, except there might, there is in the text, it says test flying. It's my first book in space, test flying the space shuttle. Now, the reason I did that is to document. So, to the author's knowledge, this marks the first publicly documented case in which the original manuscript of an Amazon Kindle ebook served as the primary text source for a recorded outer space transportation prior to its publication. Well, this was the source document, so this is before the publication of the next book that I'll have out. This is the original source document. And again, right here, if you click on read a sample, you can actually look and see the contents of the book even before you buy it. And it goes over chapter 1, the primary flight display, which is basically an overview of what the astronauts see when they're flying the shuttle. And it's pretty similar to what they fly on SpaceX or the Artemis rocket that goes into outer space that is going to go to the moon coming up in February of 2026. So if you want to see that, you can come down here, or you can see and read about those instruments here.